simple everyday language. Ramification is simply development of sub-branch and branch structures and the growth upon those sub-branch structures. So we're going to explore what sub-branch structure is and what twig growth is in sub-branch structure as well, so you understand exactly what that means. Because it might look simple, and hopefully I can make it as simple for you as I possibly can. First question. Do you need to have it on your tree? I think you do. It's my personal opinion. And after tonight, maybe you'll understand why I believe it's required. And if you do then, why do you have to have it? And what does it actually look like on the tree? And what are the reasons for having ramification as part of your plan on your tree? Okay. Let's look at some of the simple stuff. Why do you need it? Well, the first thing I'm going to, I think is important, is it adds visual weight to the actual tree. So it actually makes the tree look full and not very empty. A very young 1-2-year-old tree with very few or minimum branches looks very bare and sparse compared to one of the mature type trees that you can see down on the bench. So it actually adds visual weight, so it makes a young tree actually look old. It's a fairly important part of your design. We're going to explore why it's an important part of your design. It increases foliage. Now there is a particular and very important reason why we need to increase foliage, and we'll talk about that as well. Not only does it increase foliage, it also increases your root development. So it actually translates to more root in the bottom of your pot, and that's equally as important, and we'll explore why that is as well. Now, we spoke about increase the foliage and root development. If we increase the foliage, a simple improvement we gain from increasing the foliage amount means you get a reduced leaf size. Just by simply increasing the amount of foliage on your plant, you can actually get a decreased leaf size. So that's important. And also, if you're all trying to be artists with a medium that's alive, it actually is very important to add to the illusion of age. So it's an important tool. Do you need to have it on your tree? I think you do. It's my personal opinion. And after tonight, maybe you'll understand why I believe it's required. And if you do then, why do you have to have it? And what does it actually look like on the tree? And what are the reasons for having ramification as part of your plan on your tree? Well, the first thing I'm going to, I think is important, is it adds visual weight to the actual tree. So it actually makes the tree look full and not very empty. A very young 1-2-year-old tree with very few or minimum branches looks very bare and sparse compared to one of the mature type trees that you can see down on the bench. So it actually adds visual weight, so it makes a young tree actually look old. It's a fairly important part of your design. We're going to explore why it's an important part of your design. It increases foliage. Now there is a particular and very important reason why we need to increase foliage, and we'll talk about that as well. Not only does it increase foliage, it also increases your root development. So it actually translates to more root in the bottom of your pot, and that's equally as important, and we'll explore why that is as well. Now, we spoke about increase the foliage and root development. If we increase the foliage, a simple improvement we gain from increasing the foliage amount means you get a reduced leaf size. Just by simply increasing the amount of foliage on your plant, you can actually get a decreased leaf size. So that's important. Bob? How old do you think the tree is?
About 7 or 8 years.
Very good. It's 9 years old exactly. Okay? 9 years exactly. Now, it actually looks a lot older to most people than it is. Most people guess it between 15 and 20 years, particularly those that really are not used to looking at trees and guessing the ages by the look. It looks a little bit old because number one, it has lots of visual weight. So there's lots of foliage on the tree. It's got lots of reduced leaf size. Okay, so the leaves are quite small. It's got lots of foliage on it, which is the visual weight. And it has a well-structured design, which adds to the illusion of age. We're going to talk about the illusion of age because ultimately what you're trying to do is make a tree in a container look older than it really is. And that's one of the outcomes of bonsai. So you can see there's a practical example of a 9-year-old tree and how some of that stuff we've just got up on the board there actually helps to give you the illusion of age. Now this has got as good a root system in the pot as what it has foliage. Two of them mimic each other. So as much foliage is on top of here, there's root balance in the middle, under the soil as well. And root growth is very, very important for the health of your trees. Extremely important. So that's what I mean by what do you want from your tree. Both of these trees have been grown in very different methods. One's been grown in the field and one's been grown as a seedling, okay, and controlled every single minute of its life virtually. So it's been wired from pretty much its life and grown purposely shaped, whereas this one here was grown in the field. We're going to talk about the difference between the way I grew this with such a large trunk compared to the way I grew this. The end result's very much the same, but this one's quite tall, it's quite a thick trunk. This one is quite small, has a small trunk accordingly. Won't change a lot, this tree, and would never grow to be a trunk this thick unless I took it out of this pot and put it in the ground. We'll talk a little bit about that. This is been grown the same way as this. Hasn't been grown long. It's a sujuel, okay? It's probably one of the smaller leaf varieties that there are. And it's been grown typically in that way. The tree used to be off here. It used to be way out here, okay? There's a huge, big, broad trunk line of a plant, and it was cut off here, and this was just a side branch. So the tree's been turned over to the side branch has been wired up, and now it's time to start working on growing the branches because the trunk's as thick as I need it. This will eventually be brought back down and matched into here so it doesn't look as noticeable, and you get the nice taper. And I'll start to grow some more branching out here, work with these branches and start bringing them down when they're strong enough, and start to develop the branch placement. With deciduous trees, you want your branches to alternate. So you want one left, one right, one back, one front, one left, right, back, front, etc. Well, if you can try to, you want your branching to try and not be what we call bar branching, so one different levels up the trunk. So you can have one here. The traditional formula is one at the side, one at the back, one at the side. Okay, I've been doing this for 30 odd years. I've never found a tree that does that, okay? No tree does what it's supposed to do. So you work with what the tree will allow you to do or where you can get the buds to grow. But as long as you alternate your branching, you have one on the side, one at the back, one at the front. We have branches at the back and the front for a very, very important reason. If you didn't have back branching and front branching, and in this case I've given you optical illusion by turning these side branches into both side and back, it gives you the difference between a two-dimensional object and a three-dimensional object. Okay? If there was no back branching, you wouldn't have the volume at the back and the front. It would look two-dimensional. It would look like a drawing on paper. So it would have no real character about it. So back branches are crucial to the development of the tree, if not for anything other than to give you volume and take it from a three-dimensional representation. Okay? That's what it should be rather than a two. So your back branches, like these on this tree here, and front branches, are crucial to give the tree three dimensions when you look at it, not two dimensions. Otherwise, it doesn't look, it looks lacking. Okay? That's a Japanese maple. It's roughly 63 centimetres high. Okay? So it's very old. You can see the increased volume of the branching. See the heavy sub branches, so all the branch structures clearly defined on it. It looks old because there is lots of foliage on it as well, but it is quite an old deciduous tree. So one of the important parts of the the balance of the whole thing, perspective and scale is that the higher up the tree you go, the lighter the branches should be, and must be in reality. Because they're younger, they haven't had a chance to grow as much as the lower branches, so in theory they should be smaller in diameter and thickness than what the lower branches are. Because the lower branches are the oldest, they've been on the tree the longest, so they should in theory be thicker. Who would you kill to have something like that in their collection? But yeah, it's probably 200 plus years old. It's the species of Japanese maple, and I think it looks to me like that trunk's been meticulously cleaned every year as well. The Japanese are fond of cleaning their trunks. Typically, what you see Japanese maples grow, most of them grow like this, they fall from the bottom, shoot up like that. The biggest danger when trees do this is the foliage pulls through the trunks, and they're quite common for them to split in the centre and half the tree fall over. And my advice is the sooner you start, the quicker you'll get ramification in a full-looking branch and a full-looking tree like those two trees are there, even though they're different ages apart. They're still quite full of foliage. So if I want to grow a little tree like this, and I buy it as a 2 or 3 year old seedling for about $10, then you need to start straight away. But if I want to grow a tree with a big, thick trunk like this, then you wait until the trunk's roughly at the size you want before you start focusing on developing ramification. We're going to talk about that. There's your 2 leaves. There's your centre leaf up the top, which will become what we call the leader or the future head of the little tree. What's really important for you to understand is that wherever there is a leaf on that plant, there is the potential for a little sub-branch to grow from. Okay? And that is the same for just about every plant there is, whether it's a pine, a juniper, deciduous tree like these are, oak trees, olives, ficuses. Wherever there's a leaf, there is a potential new shoot to come out of that leaf. Okay? Depending on how you treat the tree, you determine whether that leaf turns into a little shoot, takes off, becomes a branch, or whether it dies off and the top of the plant will grow. So with this, wherever we've got a leaf on our little tiny trunk, there's a potential shoot going to grow out of that leaf position. So what we're going to try and do is, if we do it right and we encourage a new shoot, so we encourage each one of those leaves to turn into a shoot and grow out from that position, you'll get a little sub-branch. So see these little sub-branches down here? Along there and along there. That's what happens if the leaf survives and shoots out. It becomes a little sub-branch and continues to grow out until the tree runs out of strength, depending on how well you're fed or how healthy it is. So that's a little 2-year-old seedling, 3-year-old seedling now. Those little shoots along here, as we spoke about here, are actually what's happened to the leaf. The leaves have grown and turned into tiny little shoots. So in reality, it's already starting to ramify without you doing anything. Ramification, remember, is the creation of lots of leaf growth, lots of twig growth, lots of wood on the tree. A new shoot, so we encourage each one of those leaves to turn into a shoot and grow out from that position. You'll get a little sub-branch. So see these little sub-branches down here? Along there and along there? That's what happens if the leaf survives and shoots out. It becomes a little sub-branch and continues to grow out until the tree runs out of strength, depending on how well you're fed or how healthy it is. So that's a little 2-year-old seedling, 3-year-old seedling now. Those little shoots along here, as we spoke about here, are actually what's happened to the leaf. The leaves have grown and turned into tiny little shoots. So in reality, it's already starting to ramify without you doing anything.